One morning at home, Emma found herself watching a cat that appeared to be drowning in the fountain in her yard. The poor creature seemed to stir nothing within her as she closed the curtains before getting ready for school. She went about marking the calendar and fixing all her trophies, activities that showed she was a very organized and talented girl. While having breakfast with her widower father, David, she mentioned that her school would be giving a medal to the ideal student this month and that her goal happened to be winning it.
Ellis showed us this year's citizenship award. It's a medal. It's really big.
She also brought up whether David might keep dating, but claimed it didn't seem to bother her. At that moment, her Aunt Angela arrived and told them she had found a new nanny for Emma. Emma said she didn't want a new nanny after what had happened to her last one, explaining that she would prefer Angela to take care of her. However, Angela mentioned that she already had a job. Then Emma told them about what appeared to be a dead cat in the fountain, and David found himself having to retrieve the body. At school, a wasp happened to enter the classroom, and all the kids began to panic. Emma remained calm and managed to use a cup to trap the wasp, which she then released through the window. Milo wondered how she had managed to do that, so Emma explained there seemed to be a nest in her backyard, and that her dad had taught her that wasps would only attack when they felt threatened. Meanwhile, David interviews Chloe and decides to hire her as the new nanny, with her start date set for next week.
So it's just the two of us, and we manage.
Later that day, Emma overhears Milo complimenting another girl's watch. When the girl heads outside to play, Emma deliberately makes her trip and fall, then quickly helps her up to look like the caring friend in front of the teacher, while secretly slipping the watch off her wrist. That evening, Emma stands in front of the mirror, practicing her sweetest smile and innocent expressions. The next morning, she puts on her best dress and asks her father for help to look perfect. At school, a big ceremony is held, and Milo is announced as the winner of the merit medal. Emma claps with everyone else, but her impatient foot-tapping betrays her frustration. After the ceremony, David chats with Mrs. Ellis, who praises Emma as a brilliant student, but notes that she seems to live in her own little world. During the after-party, Emma tells David she deserved the medal more, and begins listing all of Milo's flaws. David scolds her for being petty, so she quickly apologizes and pretends to be happy for her friend.
You're right. Sorry. Mel's my friend. I'm really happy he got it.
Later, while the adults are busy talking, Emma invites Milo to play in the forest. They wander to the edge of a cliff overlooking the ocean, where Milo grows uneasy as Emma's behavior turns unsettling. Minutes later, Emma returns to the party alone and casually urges David to leave. When Milo's parents ask about him, she claims she hasn't seen him in a while. Suddenly, panicked screams erupt. Some children have discovered Milo's body washed up on the shore. His parents rush to him and desperately try CPR, but it's too late. That night, David confides in Angela about the tragedy. He found himself admitting his worries about how this might affect Emma, though he remained unaware that she happened to be spying on them from the other room. In the morning, David attempted to get Emma to talk about how she felt regarding Milo's death, but she insisted there seemed to be nothing to discuss. Soon Chloe arrived and David proceeded to give her a tour of the house before departing. Later, Chloe discovered some medicine in the bathroom and decided to steal a few tablets. Then she settled in to watch a movie with Emma and mentioned that she found the story to be stupid, a comment that Emma didn't appear to appreciate. When Chloe asked what she thought about Milo's death, Emma explained it didn't seem to matter if she felt sad because he was dead anyway. Chloe also inquired if David happened to have a girlfriend, while trying to make it sound like casual conversation. Emma explained David had been dating someone for a while, but she hadn't liked her, so he had ended up dumping her. She also revealed that she had witnessed Chloe stealing, which allowed her to blackmail her.
Saw you take the pills from my dad's bedroom.
Now, Emma could manage to stay past her bedtime and eat ice cream with cookies while making Chloe serve her. Sometime later, Milo's funeral was held at the school, and everyone seemed to cry, except for Emma. David spoke to Milo's mom and learned that the medal appeared to be missing. She asked him to send her any pictures he might have from the party. When they went home, David cleaned Emma's room and almost discovered the medal that was hidden under the bed. But Emma managed to distract him just in time. Then David checked the pictures and noticed that Emma appeared to be constantly staring at the medal. The next day, Ellis visited David with a lawyer. It turned out Emma had been seen entering the woods with Milo, and they wanted to know if she might have seen or heard anything. Milo couldn't swim, so it seemed strange that he would have climbed to the top of the cliff.
But if Emma heard or saw something, we need to know. That boy couldn't swim and he was afraid of water.
Chloe noticed Emma spying on the meeting and appeared to guess what she had done. When the lawyer explained that Emma could have killed Milo, Emma broke a cookie jar in the kitchen on purpose to create a distraction. Ellis and the lawyer decided to leave, while David took care of Emma's wound. He asked her if she knew anything, and she swore she didn't. She also called Ellis a liar, saying she had always hated her. Emma even pretended she felt sad about Milo's death to get her father off her back. Afterward, David took a shower. When he came out, he found Chloe waiting in his room, and she claimed she had just been there to ask a question. The next morning, Chloe approached David in his workshop, and he asked her how Emma seemed to be doing. Chloe pretended she adored the girl, but appeared more interested in talking about David's private life. In the afternoon, Chloe took Emma for a walk and told her that David had been asking a lot of questions about her because she seemed suspicious. But Chloe claimed that she had been protecting Emma. The duo stopped walking when they noticed Ellis visiting Milo's house, and Chloe taunted Emma, pointing out that she needed to come up with a good story because the police appeared to be getting closer to the truth. When they return home, Emma reminds Chloe that she knows about the stolen medicine, so if she talks, Emma will do the same. Chloe isn't afraid and shares a creepy description of murderers dying in the electric chair. Sometime later, Chloe looks for Emma, but she can't find her anywhere. She doesn't notice that the wasp nest is gone. When she searches the bedroom, she finds the medal hidden under the bed. Meanwhile, Ellis leaves in her car, where she's suddenly startled by a wasp. She panics, and the car loses control, but thankfully she stops it just in time. After opening the window to make the wasp leave, she keeps driving, unaware of the nest stuck on the back of her seat. After work, David comes home, but doesn't see the medal hanging on his bedroom lamp. When Emma comes to say hi to him, she sees the medal and immediately takes it. David notices she's trying to sneak out with something hidden in her hands and forces her to show him what.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Chloe hears this and tells David that she found the medal under the bed while cleaning. Emma tries to say she doesn't know how the medal got there, but David interrogates her until she talks about the incident. She says that they went to the forest to play a game, and because she won, Milo let her wear the medal. But she doesn't know where he went afterward. David scolds her for hiding it since Milo's mom wanted to bury him with it, and Emma thinks that's a stupid idea. Afterward, David leaves in his car and calls Angela to ask her to recommend a psychiatrist for Emma. On the road, he sees a car accident surrounded by cops and paramedics, but he doesn't stop to see who the victim was. That night, David dreams about his pregnant wife and Ellis appearing as a doctor to tell them there was something wrong with their daughter. In the morning, he finds Chloe dead in the fountain, and Emma says it was Milo, who appears as a walking dead body. However, this is part of the dream too. During breakfast, Emma calls Chloe out for revealing the medal, and Chloe calls her a little psycho. Then David takes Emma to Milo's house and forces her to hand over the medal while repeating the same story. Milo's mom doesn't know how to react and explains she's still shaken because she just learned that Ellis is dead. Her car crashed because there was a wasp nest in her car.
He rolled her car on Glendale Avenue, and she was just here talking about Milo.
Emma claims that this makes her really sad because Ellis was her favorite teacher, and she convinces her dad to go home. On their street, Emma says this means they don't have to talk about Milo anymore, and happily runs while asking for cupcakes. Later at his workshop, David notices that the wasp nest is missing. That night, he does some research about kids' pathologies and realizes that Emma may be a sociopath. The next day, he tells Emma that he'll take her to the doctor, but he doesn't see the blood in her hand. At the doctor's office, David spoke first and explained what seemed to be Emma's lack of emotions. Then the doctor chatted with Emma, who said there appeared to be nothing wrong with her. When the doctor brought up Milo, Emma claimed that she had cried for 2 days. They talked for a while, and David found himself shocked to hear laughter. The doctor concluded Emma seemed fine and sent her home.
And Emma seems 100% perfectly average.
While assuring David he didn't need to worry. When they arrived home, David found Chloe wearing provocative clothes while sunbathing. Then Chloe checked on Emma and teased her for not having any friends. She confirmed she was trying to date David, and Emma told her to stay away from her father, but Chloe reminded her that she wasn't afraid of her. That night, David had a date, and before he left, Emma told him she didn't want a stepmother, ever. While Chloe was watching TV, the lights started to flicker. Then she heard a noise and followed it until she saw someone in the workshop. She went inside, and the door suddenly closed behind her. She tried to open it to no avail, so she screamed for help. The other door then also closed and activated a trap that lit the room on fire. Emma was watching through the window, so Chloe punched the glass, but this only hurt her. She stepped back in pain, and the flames immediately spread on her body to kill her, which Emma enjoyed watching. Moments later, David came home to find the cops and the firemen. They informed him that Chloe had died, and the workshop was nothing but ashes, causing David to throw up. David ran to hug Emma, who had told the cops that Chloe liked to smoke in the workshop. After the authorities left, David forced Emma to tell him the truth about the cliff.
I'm your father. I love you. I'm going to do anything I can to help you.
Emma claimed that she had taken the medal, and Milo had gotten very angry, so she had only pushed him to keep him away. Him falling had only been an accident, and Emma hadn't believed him when he yelled that he couldn't swim. Next, David asked about the first nanny, so Emma explained that the lady had grabbed her arm, and she had kicked her, causing her to fall down the stairs. Very coldly, Emma said her nanny had been the adult, so she should have protected herself better. David yells at Emma when he confirms she was behind Chloe's and Ella's deaths too. Emma yells back, saying that she doesn't want a stepmother, and complaining because her dad wouldn't do anything about Chloe stealing. Afterward, David tries to call the doctor, but she's away on vacation. The next morning, the sheriff calls David because he needs to interrogate him and his daughter. David tells him that Emma is very sick, and he's got a few busy days of work, so they arrange a meeting for Monday. Then David wakes Emma up and makes her pack so they can leave. After a long car trip, they make it to the lakehouse, which David usually hates. Housekeeper Brian takes a moment to welcome them.
Changed a bit.
Well, cold air, hard work, no cable TV, and you two could live forever.
Before going to his shack. In the evening, David calls Angela to tell her where they are, and remembers that there's a gun in the night table. Later, the sheriff calls David to inform him that the workshop fire was started on purpose, and the lab will be able to tell them who did it soon. After hanging up, he goes to the bathroom, where a shadow creeps behind the shower curtains. Suddenly, a burnt hand grabs David and he screams when he finds Chloe's body in the tub. But this is just a dream. The next day, David ignores his phone when the sheriff tries calling him again. Emma goes for a walk in the forest, and when she comes back, she finds her dad watching a documentary about sociopaths. David gets a text from the sheriff asking him to talk, but he ignores that too. He then notices Emma watching him and admits he doesn't trust her anymore. That night, David keeps staring at the gun while wondering what to do. After David falls asleep, Emma kisses his cheek and opens every gas valve in the house before leaving for the lake. The strong smell wakes David up, and he immediately runs downstairs to close all the valves, saving himself just in time. He sees Emma by the lake and approaches her to ask her why, so Emma explains she wants to live with Angela.
Why would you do that to me?
If something happened to you, I'd live without Angela.
David takes her hand and brings her back inside. After staring at his wife's picture for a while, David crushes some sedative medicine and puts it in a mug for Emma. She asks for whipped cream, so he leaves her mug with his to go grab it. They drink chocolate together until Emma falls asleep. Afterward, David calls Angela to tell her everything Emma did, but she doesn't believe him. He also announces he had to make a hard choice. In the middle of the night, Emma wakes up and goes to David's room. She puts the gun in his hand and fires, but the shot misses and lands on the pillow instead. David wakes up and realizes he can't move much because Emma changed the mugs, so he drank the sedatives.
You're alive.
Yes, Daddy. I didn't drink the hot chocolate you made for me. You did.
He manages to disarm Emma, who grabs his phone instead. As David falls off the bed to grab the gun, Emma calls 911 and starts screaming that her dad wants to kill her as she runs to the bathroom to lock herself up. David follows her and kicks the door down before raising the gun. At that moment, Brian appears behind him and Emma cries for help again. The police sirens can be heard nearby, so David gets ready to shoot, but Brian shoots him first. David takes a final breath before he falls dead. Minutes later, the cops arrive, and Brian tells them that David wanted to kill Emma. Angela also comes and says that David was sick before hugging Emma, who smirks with satisfaction. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.